You're listening to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcast on What if Law Shaped Technologies?
Law regulates technological developments through health and employment rules and risk assessment standards to ensure that technological advances do not undermine our societies and our way of life.
But disruptive technologies evolve so rapidly that the gap from regulatory oversight is growing bigger and bigger. So what can we do about it? Stay with us.
Technology moves fast, law doesn't. So when new technological developments create the need for legal provisions to regulate their use, access or scope, often by the time these can be agreed and become binding, they are only able to address part of the original regulatory needs.
And the gap is growing wider and wider as technology advances ever more rapidly. The question is, what can we do about it?
Well, what's clear is that with a hard law approach, we won't succeed in addressing the legal challenges of an increasingly high-tech society, so other, more flexible legal approaches need to be considered.
For instance, the introduction of sunset rules which can be reviewed after an initial test period, or regulatory sandboxes of the type being used by countries such as the UK, the US and Australia.
These initiatives aim to provide space where fintech firms can test their innovations in a less restrictive regulatory environment for a limited time period.
The point is that although the early stages of a technology's development are a challenging time to develop a legal framework, it is also a good time to take advantage of the flexibility of a new approach.
And although no law can index the entire complexity of technology, let alone predict how it will evolve in the future, EU law needs to be proactive and interactive by anticipating technological trends and future risks to ensure that disruptive technologies are deployed in a way which is in line with our social values and principles.
By applying the precautionary principle and by considering the impact that current legal decisions may have on future generations, EU law can affect the way a specific technology is allowed to develop and may favour one technological path above another.
But the ability of the law to break with traditional views of technology and operate in uncharted territories will depend on the willingness of EU regulators to introduce new types of legal instruments beyond delegated and implementing acts.
And while some black swan technological events will remain impossible to predict, a real-time regulatory system that analyses scientific trends would go a long way towards ensuring that EU law not only proactively adapts to a fast-developing technological environment, but helps shape it too in a responsible manner.
You're listening to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcasts.